Cold water. This is Michael Gershwin with Michelangelo's Plumbing, Inc. It is April 25th, 2018, and we are performing a video sewer inspection. We are at 22925 Gershwin Drive, Woodland Hills, California, 91364. Performing the video sewer inspection through the 1.5-inch roof vent. We're running through the 1.5-inch roof vent. We've gone through quite a bit of cast iron. We're doing a preliminary run because we didn't know if we could get out from here or if we had to try numerous other roof vents, but we're going to try and run some water right now to help us push out the rest of the way to the city sewer. And we're going to stop and we're going to locate this area to see where we're at right now. We're going to pause for a moment. Okay, we are in the city sewer. Going down a little bit further. And we're in the city sewer right now. We're in the middle of the street. And we're going to begin pulling back. We'll pull back to the city sewer tie-in connection for the house, for this property. We wanted to push past and into the city sewer just to check it for a little bit and see what the line looks like and see if there's any issues with root intrusion or anything like that in the line. And we don't really see anything. Everything looks pretty good. Somewhere at right around 120 feet or so on the camera monitor when we whole area. Our counter back on. "30 feet shorter." But I'm leaving right now. Give me a second to find my saddle. Okay, we're pulling back and we're having to communicate with somebody below. Kind of difficult because we're on the roof. Now we're pulling back, and this is our city sewer saddle connection for the property right here. You can see that we're now above where the water's running through, and this is our saddle. So we're going to go ahead and turn our locator on and pause for a moment and locate this area. Okay, we are out 126 feet 10 inches deep. We are in the street at the city sewer saddle connection, and we are approximately 13 feet deep out in the street. And that saddle connection right there looks to be in pretty fair condition. If that saddle area is broken or really offset badly, it would need to probably be replaced, and it gets rather expensive digging in the street. That joint appears to be in pretty fair condition. Next joint looks to be in pretty fair condition, aligned nicely, no big sets or separations, no major breaks. We do have some roots in the 6-inch, some minor roots, and these are maintainable at this point. Now we're coming up to some pretty heavy roots, and we got some pretty large roots, 6-inch, and we're going to mark this area right now. We're going to locate and mark this area. Okay, we've located this area about 3 feet outside the curb into the street, and we are at approximately 8 foot 2 inches deep, and we've got large root intrusion in that joint. That joint needs to be hydrojetted. Probably going to have to put a clean out if we cannot locate one. And now we have another joint that's heavily root intruded, and we're also going to stop and we're going to mark this. Okay, we've marked this joint as well, at approximately 7 foot 10 inches deep, just barely into the street on the other side of the curb, on the street side of the curb. And these joints need to be hydrojet. Actually see what condition the joint's in. It could be cracked pretty bad, root intrusion in there, we don't know. Now we've got more root intrusion coming back. And we have another joint right here that's got some very heavy, I can't even see if the joint is right there or back a little further. We're going to come back a little more. Extremely heavy root intrusion right there. And this looks like it's at transition, and those roots are very, very large. You see there's hairline roots, and then we have some large roots right there, and those are very large for root intrusion. We're going to stop for a moment. Okay, in this area we have a lot of root intrusion and a fairly large offset in that area. And this is at the 4 to 6 inch transition, right at the curb area. It's just inside the curb on the grass area, or in the dirt area, about 2 feet. And we'll mark that with a flag. Little more than 7 foot offset as well. You can see the whole face of the bottom of that pipe. We're in a turn, so you can't see the entire pipe and the fitting, but we can see right there it's offset quite a bit. Now we also have a transition there, which we're going to run some water on the other side of the house, on the far side of the house. As you're facing the house, it would be on the far right hand side of the house. We're on the far left hand, so we're going to run some water on that side and take a look and see if this is a transition, if we've got a branch going all the way out. So we're going to pause for a moment. Okay, we've run water in front of us because we run the kitchen sink and we've also run the laundry sink, and they're both coming this way behind us. So right in front of us is more likely, we can't see it behind us, more than likely it's just a fitting to make that turn because we don't see anything, any drainage on that side of the house that's going a separate way beside this way, beside from behind us. Okay, and then we 4-inch joint, and that joint appears to be in pretty fair condition. Coming back toward the house now. Then we have minor root intrusion, very minor, in the 4-inch. And you can see that these have neoprene couplings and stainless steel bands. You can see the rubber kind of pushing out of the joint at about the 2 o'clock area and 4 o'clock area. There's a little bit of root intrusion coming through those joints. You got a minor offset here, but nothing major. As well, sometimes you're going to have offsets in these joints, and not bad there at all. Squeezing out from the joint again, which is pretty common. Right there, we got a pretty considerable offset right here. You can see it when we're in the water. It's holding back some water right there a little bit. But you get some offset in these joints. Sometimes it could be roots pushing them around a little bit too, but it's still not in terrible condition. It's still in maintainable. That joint's got minor offset, but the joint still looks really good. Now we're coming up. I think we've got some roots in a joint back behind us here. We can't really see that joint, but we can see this. And these are considerable amount of roots. There's some pretty big root coming through. We're going to locate and we're going to mark this area. Okay, we are right in the middle of the front yard in the grass area, and we're marking this area at 3 foot 10 inches deep. You got a pretty large root coming down from the top, and you got a pretty big clump of roots right there. So we're going to mark that area at 3 foot 10 inches deep with an orange flag. Pulling back to the next joint, that's minor offset. So is the next joint. That joint appears to be in pretty fair condition. This is all 4-inch vit out here. We transitioned in the street, it's 6-inch vitreous clay, and on the property it's 4-inch vitreous clay. That joint appears to be in pretty good condition. Now we're making another turn. What we could see, yeah, we're transitioning right here to cast iron. And we're going to go back out the cast iron just to that test tee, and we're going to mark this area. We're going to mark this area, and this is where a mainline cleanout should be installed. I believe it's at the front. We're going to mark this area. Okay, we're going to begin pulling back now, and we're marking this area out 2 foot 7, right at the front of the house in the grass area, at 2 foot 7 inches deep. We're marking it with an orange flag. That's the transition from the cast iron waistline coming from under the house to the 4-inch vitreous clay sewer line. And a mainline cleanout should be installed there, so that you could clean this line and maintain this line properly. But also the other areas need to be hydrojetted to really take a look at the joints to see what condition they're in. You can't tell if they're really cracked or broken. There's just a whole lot of roots in there, and they need to be cleaned anyway, and that's the only way to hydrojet it and clean it is through a mainline cleanout. So I propose that that be cleaned out, and then at that point we can tell what condition those joints are in, whether there's any other work necessary, possibly a liner installed. I would propose to put a two-way cleanout, put 2 cleanouts in here, one going toward the street and one going toward the house. This way you could also hydrojet this cast iron underneath the house, because there's quite a bit of buildup in this cast iron. And now we're coming back, and we are pulling up the vent. We're pulling up the vent area and coming back up toward the roof. And that's our inspection.